Hi everyone, this is Bruno from House of Falcone. I am here with Karl. Now, this has been a long coming meeting. Thank you for coming.
My pleasure. Lovely to be here in this space.
Look, ever since I started my business, the little thing that you don't know is that people that were there around me, 10 years ago when I first started within the retail space,
Yep.
people like you were always a point of reference for me. Like
Okay.
you
Very
have
nice.
been, I promise, like you have been that person that to me was someone to somewhat follow, emulate, try to get inspiration from. So I hope that you grasp how cool it is for me to be sitting with you today.
Oh, that's wonderful. I think the wonderful thing, I think when you're in business for as long as some of us are, this year is actually our 50th year in business. Wow. And yeah, so Xennox Diamonds, 49, well, it was 49, now it's 50 years in business. And I've been
this year
is our 50th year in business.
That's incredible.
Yeah. And I've been doing it for at least 30 years these days. So I was making my first rings when I was 14, but really in the family business from 17 to 18. I think anyone who's grown up in family businesses, it's kind of the way that it's kind of in your blood.
Yes.
I often say that one of the funny things is I had 3 businesses by the time I was 18.
Yeah.
So there was a little bit of an entrepreneurial spirit in lots of things that I do, but it comes from, having European family. I don't know about your full heritage, but I'm like half German, quarter Italian, quarter Greek. So
right.
There's a bit of a European bit to there, and I think we have an unbelievable work ethic. We love passion, where we love beautiful things, and we love great experiences.
Yeah. So tell me about. So you talked about your family, like the values and everything. So how was that jump from being like a kid within the business and then taking over and kind of like starting probably like imprinting your own.
Yeah, so my dad would always give me, as a jeweler himself, he would always give me like little apprentice exercises to do. But I still have this vivid memory of walking into his workshop and, I can, even now as I close my eyes, smell the oils that were there and seeing him heat up a bar of gold into a hot cherry red and quenching it into the water, like, that sizzle and crackle, kind of like what I would have imagined King Arthur and Knights of the Round Table.
Wow.
And it had this kind of magical thing for me from a very early age. And so I always wanted to do a little bit of that. And then my mother was always very good at speaking to clients. So, made the coffees as you do. You start in the mail room and your coffee room and you work your way up.
Yeah.
The beautiful thing is that everybody that came through the door was happy.
Yeah.
Is that they were celebrating a special life moment, from a birth of a child to a wedding to engagement, anniversary. And I thought, what a beautiful business.
What was the growth like? Because, you would have taken over at some point.
Yeah.
And now you guys are like quite literally like giants in Australia. Like you are recognizable. Like people know about you, but there's that attachment to the values. There's that history. There's the love for craftsmanship. But at some point, there's also the entrepreneur in you that would have changed the game for the business.
Yeah, I think for all of us, we're deep down perfectionists. I love going to sleep at night knowing that I've made the best ring I can for the client that I've done for it. But I've always decided to be the best, or wanted to be the best, I've met people that have been in the industry well longer than I have that can't do half the things that we can do. I sometimes say my superpower is I can draw any ring that you can imagine in 3D in under 60 seconds.
Okay.
But I taught myself how to do that, you know? And whether it's becoming a qualified gemologist, diamond grader, valuer, we just want to strive to be better than the average. And it's not that most businesses are bad businesses. It's just that the best that they know how is here, whereas the best that we know is up here.
Yeah.
And we strive for that level of excellence, knowing that good enough is never good enough traps you.
Yeah.
And the best businesses are the ones that exceed beyond that.
I think I was just talking about that specifically with a a client, and one of the things that I was talking about is that I actually noticed that, when I started the business, I was so focused on the product. Like I was like, this needs to be the best that I can possibly get.
Yeah.
And I hear from other entrepreneurs that it's a common trap for first-time entrepreneurs, right?
Yes.
It's like, needs to be perfect, product needs to be perfect.
The problem around that is, and this is hard for a lot of businesses to hear.
Yeah.
But give or take about the same money, someone could walk down the street and buy the same thing for about the same money.
Yeah.
So if someone wants a beautifully tailored suit, they can walk down, they'll find somebody else that can do it.
Yeah.
So focusing on the product quality is only one part of the equation.
That's right.
Wrapping a client experience around that is what makes you unique.
That's right.
It's your secret sauce. It's the way you do the little things that makes you special.
And for me, it was actually very difficult to find out. I remember the first year of business, going to my clients and say, but why did you buy from me?
Yes.
And some people would say, because
I like your accent.
or you seem very passionate about it. But that still doesn't translate for the real reason, right? And then I think ultimately is how they felt after leaving the shop.
Yeah. So the key distinction there for most businesses is customer service is something that you do. A customer experience is how they feel.
Yes.
And most businesses focus on customer service, not on customer experience.
Yeah.
So exactly what you said, it's how you make them feel, not only when they're with you, but after they leave.
That's right. And I mean, like this goes, in your entrepreneurial journey, you started and kind of like working within the business of your family, but now you literally have, a lot of things going, but because it's part of your nature and it's part of delivering the best that you can possibly to everyone involved in the process. So right now, do you want to tell me a little bit about the, the couple of things that you've been doing? So you've been doing something within the Google review space to help other businesses because, you're excellent at it and you just want to kind of show the path to other people.
Probably the step before that, and you touched on it a little bit before, it's like, I think one of the key things as in business that we all need is humility. And for me, I always try to surround myself with other people that I admire and respect. And I've had the tremendous fortune of spending like a couple of weeks with Richard Branson at his home in Necker in Africa. And he's just like a guy. I told him directly once around a campfire that I had a man crush on him, because he's just like the way he sees customer experience. Like if you understand the story of Virgin, he was so dissatisfied with what flying on a plane was that he built it the way that he wanted to experience it. Right? And so whenever I'm looking at businesses that I'm building or clients that I'm helping coach, it's how would I want to experience it? And I think that's tremendously important. That's the first thing. The second thing is the culture and the team of the people that he brings around him. As business owners, we can only do so much. We have to create a culture and team around us to help. They're the front line. They're the people that are interacting directly. Richard doesn't talk directly to people sitting in row C, 6, whatever. It's the front line people and how you do that. So for me, that was always a governing principle for what I looked at. And then when this beautiful thing called COVID came along, right, and the government came and banned out weddings, which is terrible when you work in the wedding industry, as we kind of do.
That's right.
We pretty much lost 97% of our revenue overnight for about 6 to 8 weeks. And the hard thing at the time was we just didn't know how long it was going to go. So what I did is I looked at our point of sale and I said, well, where are our clients coming from, right? And what I found out was that in the previous year, we'd had over $1 million in top line revenue that came from our Google reviews. But the best thing is we hadn't even spent $1 on generating it. I thought, isn't that interesting? I could teach other business owners how to do that. Because ultimately, if you've been in business for long enough, no one goes through business and is just perfect all the time. We scrape our knees, you get knocked back through the GFC, the COVIDs and whatnot. And, ultimately, I think as I get older, I have a deeper compassion for business owners, and I don't want them to struggle. I don't want them to be at the at the mercy of having to pay for Google ads, Facebook ads, or whatever. One of the greatest assets that every business has is its reputation.
Yeah.
It takes years and years to build it, but destroyed overnight if you don't do it the right way.
Yeah.
So teaching people how to build client journey experiences that are so remarkable that gives them these amazing Google reviews that generates organic leads for their business means that they can then focus on spending time with their family. They can spend time going on holidays because there's this baseline of income and leads that are coming into their business.
I mean, in the things that you've been talking about just then, it sounds like you're not at the mercy of, you're making it so you're not at the mercy of the market.
That's right.
It feels like, and this is something that, if you know, but like there's a lot of the business owners out there that talk about, the market was not good right now, or it rains too much, or whatever reason, right? They put like a lot of reason in front of it. But in my experience, a lot of the successful entrepreneurs that I speak to, they create the markets. It's never about, of course there's forces, but it doesn't kill them. The forces would maybe like sway a little bit, but right now with your Google review strategy, you are quite literally creating your market.
The one metric, and it's something that most businesses don't think about, but I can guarantee you it's what Google thinks about. It's trust. It is the trust indicators. Why do I go to this soup place over you? It's because I trust that you're going to look after me with the service. The quality and the product material is going to be set. If something goes wrong, you'll look after me to fix it. It is this element of trust. And the more that Google trusts you, the more business it wants to send business your way.
Correct.
But it has to trust that you can deliver on the brand promise of what it is that you do. And so trust and how you create that with clients through consistency, recency, and quality is what Google is ultimately looking for. You can't be, if you're good for like 6 months, like if you walk past a restaurant and you see one restaurant and it's full and packed, and then the other one is empty, it's because people don't trust that the food is going to be any good there.
That's right.
They just don't trust. Doesn't matter how fancy the menu looks. Doesn't matter if they've got the most well-renowned chef there. Doesn't matter if the paint on the wall and the furniture looks fantastic. If I don't trust that I'm going to get a good meal, I'm not going to go there. So the element that people don't realize that they need to focus on is how trusted they are in the marketplace. And when you do that, you create your own marketplace.
How do you create trust yourself? I'll tell it to you from the outside, and you tell me like if
Go for it.
if you have other things that you like to add in the mix.
Sure.
So one of the things that I think it creates trust for your personal brand is how you are so comfortable speaking in public. I think you've done few of these public speaking moments. You can tell that you are top of your game and kind of like an ambassador, and you know what you're talking about. So that trust part of it comes into the fact that you show that you know that or what you're talking about. Number two, and I would say the way that you carry yourself in business, I feel like people trust your word and trust your promise. I feel that before you enter the room, people know what Karl is about, right? Number three, I would say the manner in the way that you always present, and this is like the Taylor and me speaking, any event that I find you at, any moments that bump into you, you're always impeccable. Like you're well dressed, groomed, you take care of yourself, like you also know how to work around the colors that you wear, and I feel like that is all intentional. And that attention to detail.
Yeah.
So those are the things that come to my mind. But you tell me, like, from your end.
So I think if I go through the first one, it's really about authenticity. I think anyone who knows me knows that I'm a straight shooter. I've got no time for two-faced people. What you see is absolutely what you get.
Yeah.
That's the first thing. The second thing really comes around just a degree of warmth and compassion and a genuine desire to help people above and beyond myself. So from a trust point of view, if I'm with a client, if I think that this option is the best option for them, even if it's cheaper and there's less money in it for me, then that's what I recommend. And so there's no...
It only makes sense.
There's no kind of hidden agenda, or it's I'll step over a friend just to make an extra dollar, side of things. I think the third part is that I'm genuinely curious with people.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to find out what is their story. This is one of my funny things. I often say, like, I have no tattoos. I don't know whether you have any tattoos, but you can't say it. Okay. So I've got no tattoos. But when I see somebody with a tattoo, I say, look, as a member of the non-tattoo community, I said, like, I'm always intrigued by what the story behind the tattoo that they've chosen, and ultimately why they put it wherever it is that they put it. So that curiosity and intrigue and a love of stories.
Yeah.
I think one of my mentors early in the day said to me, your greatest business joy comes at the intersection of your two greatest values. And for me, it's client experiences and high caliber people, quality, and products. So if I'm dealing with somebody that I see as a high caliber person like you, and you're doing beautiful things with high, and you're creating experiences, that's when I'm at my happiest.
I see.
So and I think when you're very clear on what that is for you, that's where people, again, that builds a safety. Yeah. And a lot of it is safe. Like, we talk about trust, but it's also safety. People have to feel safe that if they're interacting with you, if they're doing business with you, that there's no buyer's remorse or that safety element in there.
Yeah. Well, I remember there was 5 minutes that I was a real estate, and part of the...
Just for 5 minutes, huh?
For 5 minutes. And part of the training, it was about that buyer's remorse. And it was a whole conversation, a whole scripted about it. And in my head, I always thought, I never do it in my business. And if I was to analyze it, it's because I do touch all of the points way before the buyer's remorse moment. And I want to make sure that everyone is 100% or nothing. Like, when I speak to my clients, I always tell them my standard is 100%, or you're not walking out of here with a suit.
Yeah.
And it's so ingrained in me that I think that's why I don't do the buyer's remorse.
Yeah. So for me, there's
conversation.
There's a slight extra distinction that I add onto that.
Yeah.
And so in my head, when I'm with a client, there's one question that I ask myself over and over again.
Tell me.
Which is, what is the one thing I can give this client that they didn't think that they could ask for?
Oh.
Right?
That's
now, when I do that to a client, it is a supercharger on trust. You know? So it could be that I'm helping them design an engagement ring, right? But then I will help them plan their proposal. Or, there'll be something else that I'll do, I'm a hopeless romantic. So it'll be like showing them how to write a special message to put on the inside of the box. Like, it's the stuff that no one else would think of, and that they didn't think that they could ask for when they came in. Yeah.
That's great. I mean, like, as you're speaking about all of this stuff, like, I feel that I am inspired by you. I did, even without knowing, really verge on all of these values that you have, because I find myself, I don't want to say doing the same, but I find part of my values are that, like, giving the most amount of value. So for me, it's not the question that you said, which is brilliant, but for me is value. How much value can I give? Where is your specific value?
Yeah.
Because for a lot of people, there's some people that value the, best bang for the buck.
Yeah.
Some people that value the best of the best in the world, right? What can I get that's the absolute best? So, and those are like that model, that Mercedes model, right? Like you got the 3 levels, and you have the client that want to have the very best of the best.
The thing is, they say that the best way to truly understand something is to teach it to somebody else, right? So you're right in what you're doing, and a lot of people I talk to think about it that way. What's the value? If I was to show you by an example, and I said, Bruno, you're thirsty, here's a glass of water.
Yeah.
Okay, great, I'm giving you value through a glass of water.
Yeah.
Or I could say, Bruno, I had this Arctic water imported from the South Pole. I don't know which one, the South Pole. An Eskimo carried it for 2,000 kilometers on a dog sled, and I just wanted you to have it.
Yeah.
There's a different level of value in the storytelling. Right. And so, it's not just about giving value. That's kind of what you do, how you do it, and the experience that and the story that you wrap around it adds so much more value than you can understand. We're so preconceived from being a child. Yeah. What happens when you were a kid? Your parents told you stories.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
The connection and the way that you do that and the storytelling elements wrapped around value has a 2x, 5x value to it. So it's not just about thinking about what's the value I can give, but so when I do this with clients, we were sharing before, is that I choreograph and script it to like the nth degree. It's like, I want you to stand on this spot. I want your body language to be this way, not that way. Yeah. I want your face to look like this. I want you to say these words. And when you do that so that it's repeatable and transferable and improvable by every member of your team,
yes,
that's where all the extra trust comes into it.
Like that's magical. And like you're describing basically the hurdle for most of solopreneur. Even if and I will call solopreneurs even people that are, within the family. Husband, wife, or a couple of friends or 3 friends that they're doing a business, but they cannot replicate it with a team.
Yep. You got to document it. Most businesses do not document it.
How? The how to?
Just to the nth degree. Yeah. Step 1, step 2, step 3, video it, photograph it, everything. Like if you, like that's why McDonald's is so successful. It's completely documented and systemized, optimized, improved. And you have to do that. The problem is that for a lot of business owners, their genius lives inside their head. They haven't gone that next step of taking it out of their head. Like a master chef making a cake, and does he put in a pinch of salt or sugar, or does he do it with 3 grams? Like until you look at it from that point of view.
And also in his mind is, of course, you put the pinch of whatever, right?
That's
right. But it's not able to tell other people, or they think that that's a normal, right? Yeah. Sometimes like that genius, that genius mode is that exactly like that you're talking about it right now. You're talking about trust. You're talking about being, the best at what you do. Yeah. But then you were able to document it for other people to
so like
implement.
And whenever I do this with clients, I always try to hit as many of the senses as I can. So like you've been into the showroom, we've got a whiskey bar inside there. And so like I'll take the whiskey off and I'll let you smell one bottle. So I'm getting your sense of smell. Yeah. You can see the different bottles. I'll tell you a story about one of the whiskeys. And then the glass, instead of just a normal glass, is a Japanese hand-blown whiskey glass. Yeah. And so now you've got a sense of touch. Yeah. And the more senses that I can touch in your experience, like the more enriched it is and the more value that there is. Yeah. Yeah. So I really nerd and geek out on client experiences.
That's incredible. And I mean, and that client experiences also brought you to experience within other entrepreneurs. So like it brought you into bringing that experience for entrepreneurs that are very successful in the field. Yeah. And for them to kind of like meet in the same spot. Like, how did that idea come about, and how's that going?
So from the Google business became the Curated Circle, which is the lunch, high-end business lunch group, you know? And it's the same thing. It's like I went along to, and you do networking, we all do it. You know, I think in businesses we all have to do it.
You have to.
And then you do it, and you just realize that sometimes it
doesn't feel authentic.
It feels like Groundhog Day.
You're losing time. Like you feel like you're wasting time.
It's Groundhog Day. It's the same thing every single time. You're not getting the business or the results. It's a cappuccino conversation. It's surface level. It doesn't go deeper. And so. I've worked with a lot of networking groups, and I could see what they could do to make it better, but it was always like just kind of fighting and pushing, banging your head against the wall. And so when my business partner Andrew Komenos and I decided, like, we're going to do something a bit different, you know. But the beauty is we have full autonomy control, and we want to do it so that it's a high-end venue with beautiful lunches. And I hate alternate drops. I love the family concept of, hey, Bruno, pass the potatoes or the chicken, you know, so there's this shared plate kind of community. And when you walk into the room, we make sure that we curate you with somebody that you can do business with, you know, and in between the courses, we get you up and we mix you with other people.
Do you?
Yeah, so in between we get you up. So, and we create little pods.
So if the blind date doesn't work, you are able to switch it up.
Yeah, but you come back and sit down, and then over dessert, it's a business roundtable, you know, where you might say, hey, I want to crack into a market. I want to get some feedback on this in my business. And
I have trouble with distribution.
Yeah, distribution. And so you get the collect wisdom of experience shares only, with no theoretical, hypothetical, or I read this on YouTube or whatever, you know. It's business shares from other business owners. So to be in the room, we're very protective of who's in the room. Business owner, director, founder, over $500,000 in turnover, and you have to be a good human. Because that's if you can protect the room, that's the most important thing. But beyond the wisdom and the connections, my job as a facilitator or connector is, if you said to me, hey, I'm looking for somebody in this thing, it's like, well, let me open the black book and see who can I connect you with. So this white level concierge kind of service.
Yep.
And so at the outset, people go, well, how is a diamond business, a Google reputation marketing business, and a lunch business all connected? And they really are, because the caliber of people that are in that level of business that like connecting through lunch have businesses that need help marketing online, and you know, most likely need diamonds for partners or girlfriends or children or whatever it is, you know.
But I think also it goes to your personal entrepreneurial spirit, where you were kind of like tired to spend those aimless times, and you wanted to be intentional. And this is part of a lot of the most successful people that I met. And this is like international, American, Canadian, UK, you name it. They have all something in common, and it is about time. And it's about, if I'm spending this time with you, am I intentional with my time? And you know, the networking that we were describing before, it's kind of like I'll shot in the dark. If I land, I land. If I don't land, I don't land. And this is obviously a great way for someone that's starting out. That's, you know, you gotta do whatever happens, whatever you can, right? But for a level of entrepreneur that you're talking about, so more than $500,000 a year, and you know, founder. So you want, that person doesn't have time for something that isn't intentional. That's why the lunch works.
So the way I look at it, I go, like, do I want to spend 4 1.5-hour sessions a month? You know, again, where it's not intentional, it's not curated. You know, it's up to me and how we do it. Or do I want to spend 3 hours once a month where I can make some real connections, I can have doors open for me, people introduced to me, where I can actually do some real business and also have fun. Like, because if I'm going to spend time networking or connecting, I just don't want to do it at McDonald's.
No.
You know?
But also the connection, the connecting and basically the relationship building, it's such an important and key value in a business. And most people, I feel, they they don't fully comprehend it.
No.
So whenever somebody, you might have noticed it even before, like we were just talking off camera and I said, hey, like I think I have some people that I can introduce you to, and it needs to be without wanting anything in return. Mm-hmm. It needs to be genuine, authentic, and also with that in mind, is who can I introduce you to that it will be an introduction and not a referral.
That's right. Yeah.
It's a
warm introduction.
The difference is like I'm introducing you as a great entrepreneur, as a human being.
Yeah.
Versus, hey, like his diamonds are perfect. It doesn't make a lot of sense on that.
So, like for us at the Curated Circle, it's like we've got 4 core values, which is, and again, similar to our whole conversation, it resonates because it runs through everything that we do. Authenticity, integrity, intention, and my favorite one is the generosity. So the people in the room are just generous with their connections. Because sometimes in business people go, I don't want to introduce you because they're my connection. In our rooms, everyone's...
I don't understand that part.
Super generous, And I think, going back to one of your early questions around the trust is, was it last year that you got up on stage to do the dancing CEO?
It was.
Yeah? And who put you up to doing that?
Ashwarya?
No, it was me.
What?
That was me. It was me.
I thought she introduced me to it.
Yeah, but
then when I met you,
I told you I had to do it,
right? You had to do it.
Yeah. So I kind of pushed you along to do it.
Oh my God!
Because you were the dancer and I was actually one of the judges. I think it gave you a good score, but
you did give me a good score.
I did.
There was one judge that didn't.
Yeah, that wasn't me. But it's this whole giving without the expectation of return.
Yeah.
I think there's a great quote I heard once, which is, if you have the wherewithal to help somebody in need, it's almost your moral obligation to do so. And that's the genuine belief of mine and I help out a lot of different charities. And it was great watching you dance on stage and raise some money and doing all of that kind of stuff. But I think you've got to embrace that kind of a spirit for people to see that it's not. At some point, we've all moved past the point of there's enough money for you to live.
Yeah.
People don't need as much money to live as what they think. No. But at some point, if you can give back, if you can help a cause or a charity, thinking that, if one of your family was ever in that position, you'd want that charity to be able to help them, you know? Yeah. And I think for me, that's something that's always something that's really core and close to my heart.
I thought it was, for most businesses, it was a given, but I realized that actually it isn't.
It really isn't.
And we also are involved with a few charities in Queensland, and I didn't realize it until when I was, my hands in the pie. I guess like it's been more than 5 years now. We probably raised as a small business, like starting out small business and start up. Within 5 years, I probably we're raising more than $1 million, and this is from a startup point, 5 years in the making. And
the funny thing is, and we're the same. I don't. People say to me, "Do you keep track of it?" I said, "No, I don't." It's over millions.
No,
but and people go, "Well, what's the ROI?" And I go, "That's not why I do it.
There's not ROIs.
It's the karma. It's the paying it forward.
It's the giving back.
Yeah,
But I think we were talking about generosity before. I think is very important to that. Bringing up people that got left behind and they have a lot of love and passion for what they do. Yeah. And if they're willing to do the work, then of course, like it's a good sentiment to give back to. Yeah. Because I'm sure that even in your experience, you want to help somebody, but they don't want to help themselves.
Yeah. I try not to stick around those sort of people.
Right?
But so for me, when I'm looking at certain scenarios, like everyone's kind of familiar with the win-win, and then some people go win-win-win. I always try to go for 4 wins, a win-win-win-win.
Yeah.
So for me, like when I was pitching the Dancing CEOs to you was, it's a win for the charity.
Yep.
It's a win for you from a profile point of view. You know, because it's one of those things that once you've done that, you become part of an alumni. You know, it's a win in terms of raising the profile of the charity in general, and it's a win for the recipients for the money that you raise to go there.
That's right.
You know, so the more wins that you can stack, the better it is.
The better. Yeah. Can I touch on before we were talking about like yours, because obviously a lot of my listeners are entrepreneurs, and out of this whole conversation, there's like so many gold nuggets left and right. But I always like to like put it like all together. So we're talking about you know, trust.
Yes.
For you, it's very, very important to give that trust, and that would transpire into actual dollars.
Yes.
When with the Google reviews and you know, raising the profile of the business that you're standing out for. But as a human being, as a person, for you, authenticity, trust.
Yeah. Was integrity. Yeah, because
and generosity.
And generosity. Well, I don't know whether you know this, but I also spent 10 years in the military as an artillery captain.
No, I didn't know.
So there you go. So for me, integrity is a very big thing.
Yeah.
You know, in terms of being able to go to sleep at night knowing I've done the best thing, and you know, never cutting a corner.
Yeah, you're happy. You're sleeping. You're happy with the type of life that you led and the type of advice that you're giving out.
Yeah.
You also, and that transpired in this conversation throughout even how you treat your clients and you make sure that they get what they need versus getting what like a salesperson would want to have.
Yeah.
Which is kind of like, but then you go that next level where you ask yourself, what is the one thing that they cannot get anywhere else?
I want them to leave feeling like they've been part of something really special.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a transactional, it's a relationship experience.
Yeah.
You know, because as I said, they could walk down the street and buy a ring somewhere else for sure.
Yeah.
But they're never going to get the same experience and the relationship. Like we've got people now that my parents sold the engagement ring to the grandparents. I've sold the ring to the parents and now also the children.
Wow.
So, you know, 3 generations of clients that we've looked after, and the parents, they just bring the kids back in again because it's like, the thing I love about the trust, and particularly with the Google reviews and Xennox, we've got over 1,500, but people come in and they spend more, they make a decision faster, and they don't care about the competition.
Yeah.
And as a business owner, who doesn't want more of that?
That's what you want.
Yeah.
That's what you want. Very, very special. And then the last thing, and then obviously like you putting together people, you're generous with with the way that you treat relationships, and it's a very strong key value that I think it's every entrepreneur out there should take, you know, as a goal for themselves.
Yeah.
The other thing that I wanted to summarize as well is the way, again, the Taylor and me, the way that you present yourself when walking into different rooms, whenever you're at work, even whenever you're off work.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a little bit of the mindset behind it? Like, I just want to understand why for you is important to present yourself in the way you do.
So this is something that I don't think I've ever really shared on another podcast before. But I grew up with very European parents, and one of the things that my parents always wanted us to do as the kids was actually to do ballroom dancing. You know, so it's like when you walk into a room, your frame and how you hold yourself is something that's very important.
Okay.
Yeah. I think I would always rather be overdressed than underdressed.
Yes.
You know, in an environment. And just like you, I love wearing a 3-piece suit, and that becomes a signature for a lot of people who know me in the industry.
I know. Yeah.
But the appreciation for the finer things in life. You know, remember I said like it's the high caliber, you know, products, services, and people. It's just, I just appreciate that side of things. I don't know really where it comes from, but so how I hold myself, the intention of walking into the room is to be interested, not interesting.
I like that. And what do you think is the direct, and this is like probably something that you haven't thought about it, but what is the effect? So you dressing well, presenting well, what is the effect in the room and with the people that come and talk to you? So do you think I can think of a few. Like, for example, there are my clients' experiences.
Yeah.
Clients' experiences, they talk about having attention that before they wouldn't necessarily have.
Yeah.
So having people come and talk to them and having the right type of attention, because the person that is attracted to somebody that takes care of themselves.
Yes.
And one of my coaches says, how you do one thing is how you do everything.
Yeah.
Then you can take care of the business. So you take care of yourself, you take care of the business in a
I think,
similar manner.
I don't know what it is that you believe, but what I believe is in high energy and high frequency people, you know?
Yeah.
And so I often say to salespeople, if I'm training them, I said, are you happy? Tell your face. You know, so when you walk into a room, how you, like, despite what you look like, you could be immaculately dressed, but if you walk in and you're like flat energy, your face is down or whatever, it's not going to work.
But to that, I would respond.
Yes.
That it would be very rare, if not almost impossible, finding somebody that's immaculately dressed in the sense that I mean.
Yeah.
So immaculately dressed for me doesn't mean like you have a suit. Like it means that everything is intentional. Like you kind of like you look the way you want to look.
Yeah.
It is rare to find that person to be on low energy and to be like not the force in the room. This is my experience.
Okay, so for me, it's if I go a bit further down the road of where you're going, I think for me it's always a case of. So one year for the Dancing CEOs, I wore a complete white sequin jacket.
Right.
I looked like a walking disco ball on the stage, right?
So not immaculately dressed.
Yeah, but but it was just people look at you and go like, how could you do that? And it's like, you know what? Number one is I dress for me.
Yeah.
And how I want to feel.
That's right.
Rather than what I think other people are going to judge me for.
That's it.
And so if I feel good in the way that I dress and how I feel when I look in the mirror, then the confidence and the joy that I get out of doing that, that's what comes out of me in that way.
But that's why I would argue that if you don't look immaculate in the sense that we're talking about, in the meaning that it doesn't have to be perfect, but it needs to be perfect for you, like whatever you like to see in the mirror, then your energy isn't where it needs to be.
Yeah.
And I would argue that you lose opportunities that you might get, if you would have done otherwise.
Yeah, look, I mean, at the end of the day, we say you should never judge a book by its cover, but everybody does.
It's tough.
Everybody does.
I mean, it's tough. Yeah, there's a reason why your trademark is a 3-piece. Look, you've been very, very kind with your time. And I want for all entrepreneurs out there to see that the fact that you're generous, it doesn't mean that I need to overstep and overtake. So I really appreciate the time that you dedicated to us and to all of the listeners. And I'm very happy that today I got the chance to kind of like tell you face to face that, you have been always a beam for me and someone to emulate and someone to kind of like take inspiration from.
No, that's very
because
kind.
Sometimes you I don't think you would have known that. And obviously, like, I met you when I was a salesperson, and probably actually I will be curious to hear what differences you saw if you saw any of my kind of changes.
Yeah,
in the space of times.
My earliest memories of you back in the early days was this young kid on the block kind of thing,
Oh yeah.
because like when you've been in business for 30 odd years, there's not many people we don't know.
Yeah.
And I know a lot of the guys from a lot of the different fashion houses and things like that. And there was this new kid on the block that was kind of coming up, but he was, and you've got the Italian bravado, and it's like that, the Italian stallion, and you had that. You definitely have a wonderful sense of charisma.
Okay.
And I think that's very endearing to a lot of people, because it doesn't come across as being fake, and it doesn't come across as being pretentious or arrogant. you know, and for me, that's also a very rare quality to find in somebody.
Yeah.
And then when you couple that with obviously the skills that you bring from the tailoring side,
Yeah.
and being very proficient in that side of things, that then you start to see someone blazing their own trail. And what I always admired about you was, and I see a lot of people in a lot of different industries where they're just trying to copy somebody else but be 5% better. And I never saw that about you. You were somebody that just really wanted to do your own thing, blaze your own trail, and be known for being you.
Yeah, that's really nice. I mean, it's funny the way you said it, like the new kid on the block. And to be honest with you, I am so grateful, so grateful to the people that helped me get to where I am today. I am grateful to Haley, like she was the manager at Xenia. And to Xenia in particular, they really installed the passion for the best and finest things in the world. So, and kind of like give me that passion and that feeling to understand also it's not just fancy, like it makes sense, right? And then when I went to Mitchell Ogilvy, and I told Mitch myself, like, not the dancing CEO the year that I was competing, the year before. I met him in the
Mitch.
Within the public, and I told him, I was like, you know, like I really want you to know that I'm so grateful because, you know, you and your team, they were so kind in my time during my years at Mitchell Ogilvy. They were like, they told me everything, like technical skills and soft skills, and they were like so kind, incredible, like, and while I was there, I probably wasn't even understanding what I was learning. And then to be honest with you, if I wouldn't have been at Mitchell Ogilvy, I wouldn't have met all of the people in my circle that they kind of pushed me from a mindset perspective on doing and building House of Falcone. They were that 5% of the people that were saying to me when I was the new kid on the block, what are you doing with these skills? Why aren't you, what are you gonna be in 5 years' time? What do you wanna build for yourself? And you know, like you can build a million things. You can do so many different things. You can excel within, you know, within as a salesperson, or you can build something that you're very passionate about, like I'm doing right now. So, I just wanted to really put my gratitude out there, and I think gratitude is very important. That's why I wanted to.
And likewise back again.
Thank you very much.
You're very welcome.